But every single time I tell you about the media and access, this comes down to what we speak about all the time when people call my boss all the time. And what they try to do is they try to get me fired each and every single time. Okay? I'm going to say this to the radio stations and also to the newspaper, the Philadelphia Inquirer. Do your fucking jobs. So now you're writing after the fact on Nick Castellanos and him drinking a beer in the dugout. Now you're writing about it after the fact when you knew all of that stuff was going on. And why didn't you write about it? You know why? Because the Phillies told you not to write about it. Accessibility, not doing your job. So let me get this right. If you think the Philadelphia Phillies can do that stuff, what makes you think the most popular football team and most popular sports team in your city doesn't hide information and doesn't tell media people not to talk about this? You don't think the Eagles do this shit too? Hey, guy, Jeff McClain, don't talk about this yet. We'll let you know. Do your job. Can't do it anymore. You know why? That's why shows like this are important. Because we don't play that game, homie. Homie, don't play that. Not here. And that's exactly why they hate shows like this and me. You know why? We don't play that game. Unfortunately, you got a city full of, what did Angelo say yesterday? Pussies that won't cover the sport anymore. That won't give you the news. All of a sudden now you're big heroes. You're talking about Nick Castellanos and him drinking beers in the locker room and in the dugout. That's after the fact, dude. Why didn't you write it last year? You know, that's the big goof going on in Philly now. That the Philadelphia media is no longer what the Philadelphia media used to be. Where they had people that actually covered sports. They would never let shit like that go. Not that, hey, by the way, not that I think drinking a beer on the bench is all that a crime. Okay? Hey, was the guy a worm? Probably. Did everybody hate him? Probably. But I'll tell you what, Bryce Harper, that guy needs to sack up. He's not very tough. Dave Dombrowski didn't say enough shit to get his little panties in a bind. He had 275 with 27 homers. And the guy's crying already? Give me a break. So what? Not the point, Jimbo. That Castellanos was a douche. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people doing their jobs. I'm already reading reports that Denzel Ward and Rashawn Gary could be cap casualties. Also, know anybody else? I'll be working on that, Kyle. I saw that too. Rashawn Gary. Of course, Rashawn Gary's going to be a cap casualty. Why? Because they went out and did what? They signed Micah Parsons. Of course they're going to be in that conversation. Okay? Beers in the dugout, that's elite shit. I do like, hi-ya. That's not what I'm really talking about, but hey, dude, do your job. Do your job. Cover the team, not after the fact. You guys are missing, I think some of you are missing my point. You're missing my point. Telling me about how teams don't control the narrative. Philadelphia, two teams I know of that cover the narrative and lead the narrative are the Phillies and the Eagles. If they don't want a story out, you know what they do? They go to people like ESP. They go to people who cover your Phillies. Don't cover this. We don't want this in the mainstream right now. We'll let you know. Wow. Really? That's not doing your job. That's the stuff we talk about. That's the stuff we tell you why our show's important. Because you get an opportunity. This is why they hate you. All right. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. By the way, Olympics coming down the lane here. We're now in the midweek of the final week, so I loved the Olympics. The ratings were excellent this time for this games. I think it being in Milan was absolutely sensational. I think NBC did a great job. So here are the dates. This weekend, business is underway. Business is underway right now on what to do with A.J. Brown, what to do with Mike Evans, what to do with a bunch of guys. Deals are being cut now, okay? That's why when that trading deadline and free agency starts, trading deadline, more so free agency starts, these deals are going to be done. That's March 11th. Combines is this week. Draft is April 23rd. And I've got to tell you, it's going to be an interesting offseason. I told you this yesterday. One of the most important things that happens right now, every single thing you do right now is going to dictate the success of your team. By the way, let's do this because we had this conversation, right? Last year we had this conversation. How much do you think of the 2025 offseason had a direct impact on the team getting knocked out of the playoffs in the first round? How many people believe that? What you didn't do in the 2025 offseason, how much do you think that had an impact on the final result of your team? What do you think? 1 out of 5. 5? 4? 1,000%. Okay? How much? Get this. None. All the things that they didn't do in the offseason, every single thing I said that happened in the offseason was a direct result of what happened and why you failed last year. Every single thing. Coaching blew it. Coaching blew it. Hey, KC, coaching and all the decisions you made in the offseason by hiring Kevin Petullo happened in the offseason. That's part of the offseason. Is it not? They had the players to win. Really. So this guy blames, hey, guys, what do you think wins games? Players or plays? KCA thinks plays win and not players. I think you're overrated, KC. KC, you think plays win games and not players? Really? You think plays win over players? Really? Tells me a little bit about yourself there, guy. Come on, the only thing you could point to that might be a failing is not recognizing how bad the O-line would be impacted by the injury and fatigue. But nobody had that on the radar in the summer. You didn't have that on the radar in the summer when we were talking about Cam Jurgens not being able to practice at all in the offseason and not really doing anything until the start of the season. He wasn't available for OTAs or minicamp at all in the offseason. He had surgery in the offseason. Landon Dickerson had 2 surgeries. You didn't think there would be a problem going into the regular season with your offensive line? We pointed that out. We pointed it out. All right. So let's start here. Let's start with one of the biggest and most meteoric moves that you made. How much do you think Jeff Stoutland's departure is going to impact future offensive lines in Philadelphia? What do you think? What do you guys think? Jeff Stoutland's departure will impact future O-lines in what way? What do you think? You guys think you're going to be the same offensive line? that you've been for the last 12 years, 13 years? Do you? Who cares? Just win? That's what we're talking about. Development of low-round draft picks. Not the question. How much do you think the departure of Jeff Stoutland and the future offensive lines that won 2 Super Bowls and 3 appearances is going to be affected by Stoutland not being? I actually got this topic from Jimmy Johnson. How many people believe that your offensive lines will never be the same and that his departure will impact future O-lines? The offseason moves wasn't aggressive, therefore resulting in the team not being aggressive, and it sure showed it. And it showed its ugly head. Marshall, exactly. Great take. Thank you. Absolutely. I'm going to say 50 to 75%. Get this. Jeff Stoutland's way is old. It isn't part of the philosophy going forward. So you hired a guy who fucking failed in Minnesota. And this guy's telling you right here, he thinks that guy who failed in Minnesota is an upgrade. And that's the new way. Hiring a failure coach versus a guy who's going to Canton. Okay? Hey, so let me ask you this. Is Vic Fangio's way outdated too? He's older. He's 67. He's almost 70. That guy is so dumb. I really love the fact he comes here and just talks as fucking dumb as he can be. It's so rewarding to see how somebody can be so dumb and not know a fucking thing about football. And it's so wonderful to be able to show you the difference between smart thinking and people who have a box of rocks for a brain. It's wonderful. Are you crazy? I love it. The guy is the fucking dumbest person that's ever come on my shows in 35 years. Okay? Yeah. Okay, well, that'll be new. Vic's scheme is still copied. It works. So, hey, Forrest, are you under the impression? So, wait a minute. A year ago, let's see here. A year ago, to this day, the greatest running attack in pro football. You think that Jeff Stoutland got old in 12 months? And his way of coaching got old in 12 months? So my wife says, Sue, thank you. Sills, didn't I hear you the other day arguing that Devin Lloyd is an edge rusher, he's an off-ball linebacker? Just saying. He plays OLB, dude. They got him OLB. I think he only had 3.5 sacks. Hey, by the way, Jalen Phillips only had 3.5 sacks. I mean, did he not? Right? If I did say that, you're right. He is inside. So again, the impact of your offensive line moving forward without Jeff Stoutland. How many people believed you're going to have the same kind of group of offensive linemen? How many people believe that? Do you think you're still going to be dominant in the O-line moving forward? You weren't dominant last year because of injuries. Do you believe you're going to be dominant moving forward under under Romper Room. Under Chris Romper, or whatever his name is. And Reyes says they've hired a new Jeff Stoutland. That this guy's the new guy, even though Minnesota kicked his ass out. Very concerned. I'm with you. And Reyes says they got the brand new guy. He is a new, Minnesota, we poached him from Minnesota, even though Minnesota didn't offer him a contract. We poached him. Another fabulous take by Numbnuts. But by M. Numbnuts. That's his new name. M. Numbnuts. It wasn't the same before he departed. Needs to be rebuilt. Great coaches come and go. Life goes on. That's not my question. My question, Carmine, is do you believe that the departure of Jeff Stoutland will have an impact on future O-lines? Yes or no, Carmine? I think it's going to have a massive impact. Do you? Even M. Numbnuts, M. Reyes Numbnuts knows better. Scheming around patchwork lines is necessity when you have to dump for future money into the defense. Yeah, but that was a staple there, Rasputin. Your offensive line was a staple. Even M. Reyes Numbnuts knows that. Barkley's career could be over after another disappointing season behind this line. I completely agree. The Eagles CB2 problem. Free agency or draft? I think they're going to address it in free agency, but not a big free agency move. I don't. Holy cow. M. Reyes Numbnuts has contributed. Thank you very much. Hey, Dillhole Dan, where will you hide when we win? In your mom's house. Let's see. Sills, the Birds are stepping away from that kind of offense for a quick read, dink and dunk spread offense. Stupid. Absolutely. Yeah, at your mom's house. So, Sills, if the running game and the O-line looks good this year, does that mean the talent made stout? No. Dude, isn't it true Lane Johnson is the only guy from that Super Bowl offensive line that won the second one? Am I right? Am I right? So Lane was the only guy that was on that line in 17. Am I correct? Dre, am I right? Okay. Right? So who made that line? Right? Thank you for entertaining from 2 to 6. KCA, thank you very much for being here. Are you kidding me? Having a guy like M. Reyes. And, you're kidding me, right? Look at this. Eat them scratch cells. This guy's got comebacks. Hey, this guy has got about as good a comeback as Hassan Reddick had when he was in Tampa. Hey, what a comeback. This guy's had a comeback like Reddick in Tampa with 1 sack. Seals, do you think these professional athletes have room to improve with the new coach after they have already graduated from Stoutland? 0 chance. Can you imagine if they had Brandon Brooks? Dude was a steel wall. Injuries, man.